number 6 of the FEMC, and we're in Montreal, Canada. Ravo on pole from Wisconsin, Iron and Babness. Then it's Bob, Mahave Raghunathan, JD Venter, and Marcus Nelson. Then it's Daf Sanchez, Yuki Suo, Miores in the number 6 car, then Enoch Huey, and B Dragon Sonic only 12th with UK Ball alongside him. Next, Jackie Tigranes, Leo, Daniel Baltasarov, Kari, David Kauno, Astor Maldonado, MF1 World, his teammate Theodore Schumacher, and Sebastian Ocampo. We've got a harder instruction of tyres for this round in Montreal, with speed limiters on due to the pit lane. All 5 laps go on. We go green in Montreal, and it's a pretty even start in the top 2. Ravo covers off Solis Collins immediately, who now pulls to the inside line to defend from if Babness could do the same thing, coming through the first turn. Then Babness does get back ahead of Solis Collins there. And B-Dragon Sonic, like a rocket ship, he's gotten himself up into 8th place already. The man he was sitting alongside with, U-Cable, struggling down the order. Camero seems to have picked up a few positions as well. B-Dragon Sonic looks, it's right alongside his former prodigy in Marcus Nelson, and he does get himself up into 7th. He could get past Raghunathan here, but he's just not close enough. Nelson tries to go alongside. Bob gets himself up into 3rd place, but he's on the outside coming through the hairpin. And Kynes does retake the position. B-Dragon Sonic is gone from 12th to 6th in just the opening lap. What a start for the multiple-time champion. He's on the back of Daf Sanchez now, the Rodin Carlin car, as an QE gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. He's also had quite the great start as well. He's got himself up into 9th. But of course that 5-second time penalty currently would drop him outside of the points altogether. He could have put him last, in fact. But of course the gaps will open up later on in the race. Ravo leads 1.5 seconds ahead of Iron at Babness, and he sets a purple first sector. Looking at Daf Sanchez now in the number 72 car for Rodin Motorsport. He's up in 4th place, which would be, of course, a great finish for the New Zealand team. But of course, he has to defend from Bob and the Dragon Sonic behind. That 44 car looks like a man on a mission. JD Venter, look at the midfield here. And Mark Huey looks to find a place to get by. He has to let Marcus Nelson through, otherwise risk a crash. Miores ahead of these guys. Currently, I think, yeah, they are giving Marcus Nelson DRS, but JD Venter just gets past the Lamborghini Mako car anyway. Ravo sets a new fastest lap of the E3, make that B-Dragon Sonic his own teammate, a 1:11.599. There's someone in this schedule sort of faster time. I think someone might, because look at the field spread up top, and then look at the absolute strangle of cars here. U-Cable fighting with Sebastian Ocampo. Not Bernardo gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. U-Cable on the back of Ocampo still as Sebastian gets himself up into 10th. U-Cable up into 11th. Marcus Nelson has dropped outside of the point. He's down in 12th. And now U-Cable has to chase after Seb Ocampo. What an opening few laps. Genuinely, this has been quite possibly not even just the cleanest, but the best Montreal E3 start we've ever had. Coming through the hairpin now with Seb Ocampo in the number 76. He's one of 4 Filipino drivers in this championship. He drives for Andretti, currently in 10th. That would be 1 more point. He currently sits 4th in the World Drivers standings. Bob sets the new fastest lap of the E3. Babness drops down into 3rd place. Gets brake tested by Kynes there. And Theodore Schumacher gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with his own teammate. They go side by side. Maybe there might have been team orders here, but the automatic penalty system says otherwise. Baltasarov gets past an RQE there. On board with Mercury in the number 29 car, the Hong Kong driver. I'm looking just a little bit further up front in 6th place. B-Dragon Sonic, he's dropped off the back. Oh, Dash Sanchez, he's 3 seconds away from the Rodent Motorsport car. Just playing with the Legos, don't worry about it. Here's Bob in 11th. He's about to get passed by the Rodent car. They go side by side. Dash Sanchez using both ERS and DRS at the same time. I think Bob trying to regen some of that DRS down the straight. Sanchez doesn't just take 4th, he does more than that. He takes 2nd! 3 overtakes at the World Champions for a championship caliber driver. The 72 chases after the man who took his seat. Looking back with Rabo in the number 7 car. He still leads the way after setting pole position. But now with that Rodent car behind it, it just looks to be ever less. There's an 8/10 is the gap. And comparing that to Ragunathan and B-Dragon Sonic, yeah, I do believe there shouldn't be DRS coming down the back straight, the biggest overtaking spot on the track. Dash Sanchez, of course the gaps coming through the hairpin, they're going to be a little bit less accurate to how close they are to making an overtake. It's a second coming down the main straight though. That gap is, however, opening up. It's 1.1 seconds stationary around that gap. He's now closing as Raver has to pit. I'm sorry, that's to brake, rather. But coming down the start-finish straight, he may have had pole, or he may have led the first 5 laps, but Ravo's lead is coming under threat. It has not been undone yet. Dash Sanchez in the number 72 car, the Rodent Motorsport. There's still more left to fight in the Italian. As into the pits comes Mercury, David Camino, and Theodore Schumacher. Early pit stops being made at lap 6 of 17. These are the latest the first pit stop has been made in the season so far. So the Tyrwolf tyres is showing quite a lot more life in them. But for the championship leader to currently be running in last place, gotta frustrate him at least a little bit. Nobody wants to be running in last, especially not when you're racing for a championship and your 2 other rivals are way ahead of you, and one of them's also scoring more points than you. Especially when one of them's your teammate. But UK Ball, as we go on board with him, currently still 11th. Not close enough to make an overtake as Ravo pits. Slow on the left side. But they just about get him out. Now, he's going to be behind his own teammate. We've got yellows in the 3rd sector, and that is for somebody who's in the pits. That's UK Ball out! As well as Mielres, who spun. Virtual safety car deployed for UK Ball, your first retirement in the C Prix. He won in Las Vegas. He hit it big in the Sin City. And it looks like he's had to pay for it in a way no one would have wanted to see. And the worst part is he's a championship challenger as well. He's challenging his teammate, he's challenging his former teammate. And there's just little that he can do. Ravo came out of the pits, by the way, 7th place for the number 7 car on lap 7 of 17. There goes Dash Sanchez. 1.8 seconds ahead of Iron Babinas. Salas Kynes on the back of the Volkswagen car. He's gaining, he's edging ever so close to him. I expect these guys to possibly come into the pits. Sanchez comes in. Clean entry. No room to overtake yet. B-Dragon Sonic does pit. And it's going to be medium tyres for hyperdrive racing. Ravo will come out of all of this in second with only Ragunathan ahead. I'm looking at his tyres. They've done 1 lap and they've only lost 9%. if this was the older construction, they would have been at 80 already. There were only 4 laps of life in the old medium tires. On board Daf Sanchez then, who's been quite heavily undercut by Revo. Pretty much. The gap between those two currently 6 seconds with Ragunathan and... Wait, Sebastian Ocampo? It was an early stopper and he's up in 3rd. Yeah, he stopped around the same time as Revo. Might actually be managing his tyres better because he's up into 3rd place currently. So Revo still leads the way. He's gone past Ragunathan, who should be pitting on this lap. He does pit this lap. Revo sets a new fastest lap in the E3, but Seb Ocampo currently in 2nd with Daf Sanchez behind, with Ocampo now setting a new fastest lap of the race as Yuki Suo is out. Yuki Suo out at pit lane entry. As we see the pinnacle car of Akari in the number 10 and switch onto soft tyres. That's your 2nd retirement in the Z3. Unfortunate for Raiden. Hopping on board with the number 44 car, the Hyperdrive Racing. He's not close enough to make any sort of overtake on Salos times. And Ragunathan's still on his back. So I think for B-Dragon Sonic currently where he is in relationship with the cars around him, I don't think he's close enough to make any overtakes. And the cars around him, of course, very relative if not equal on pace. There is no real catching up on them. And I think someone might have peeled into the pits as Daf Sanchez up into 3rd place, overtaking Iron Babinus. And he's got the Andretti right ahead of him. Salas Concepts a new fastest 3rd sector. And Daf Sanchez, the Audi 10, Mercedes 10 Rodin driver, showing those years of experience as someone else has gone off. Theodore Schumacher had to slow down. And oh, that is Akari. No, that's Leo rather. And he tried to enter the pit lane. He's lost his front wing. He missed that incident, but he's out of the race. Leo out of the Montreal E3 in yet another pit lane incident, most likely. He likely already turned on his pit limiter in anticipation of going into the pits, but he hit the wall because of a lack of grip. This happens too much. When it comes to the top 3, the driver with the best tyres is Daf Sanchez, then it's Sebastian Ocampo and Revo in that order. Sanchez not steaming down the inside like we know him to do in most chances he gets to overtake. B-Dragon Sonic, he's overtaken JD Venter, and he might want to go after Bob here for P6. He's got fresher tyres than the Renault Edam's car ahead of him, and come race's end, he will likely pit again, but after the Renault Edam's car ahead of him, unless it begins to rain, in which case he's kind of screwed. Neil Rez about to get passed by an Kiwi here, very close between them. They go side by side, but he's just not close enough to make that lunge coming through the first turn. Marcus Nelson once again setting a fastest 3rd sector. Real merchant of the straight lines is the Lamborghini Mako car, trying to gain on MF1 World, just not close enough to make too much of an inroad on the Skoda car ahead of him. This man is still yet to score any points in the championship. And today it doesn't look like he'll score again, as JD Venter fighting with Ragunathan over 8th place. Ragunathan gets by and he will get DRS coming down the straight, so JD Venter will also get it, but he's just not close enough. Ragunathan, he's going to need to defend really hard from the Volkswagen behind, and so will B-Dragon Sonic. He comes steaming in, and the Volkswagen gets back up into 8th place. What a move! But I don't think it'll last for too long, because B-Dragon Sonic steams right back down the inside. He has to go a little wider than the Volkswagen ahead of him, so he has to concede 7th place to the South African driver. And we've got yellows, and that is for David Camino, I believe, in the pit lane. Got yellows in the 3rd sector. They have been sorted out with no retirement, but yeah, they have been for David Camino, who hit the wall. According to the telemetry, Akari on the back of Daniel Bontasaro, who is still yet to make his 2nd stop. They both are, in fact. Looks to try and go around the outside. This will become the inside line for the start of the chicane. He takes the position and he shuts the door on the Andretti car. 16th place is all for Akari. Marcus Nelson fighting with MF1 World again, this time for 12th place. We might see some more drivers pit. For example, I believe Bob stays out. That's a nice camera angle. Tigranes, Marcus Nelson's teammate, who has got himself up in 12th place, coming through the chicanes, does decide to stay out. One of these drivers might decide to just barrel it down into the pits, and that driver is Theodore Schumacher out of the Prix in the pit lane again. Aston Maldonado got a front row seat to that. Virtual safety car has been deployed once more in the C3, and with only 4 laps to go, we've lost 4 drivers. But on lap 13, as he's about to start lap 14, Revo hasn't really stepped a foot wrong. He's led most all of the laps in this race, and he's looking to take his first race win in a long while for Hyperdrive Racing. Coming into the pits, I believe. No, he stays out. But Sebastian Ocampo does decide to pit. Sanchez staying out. Babinus comes in. Hines staying out. Bob staying out. B-Dragon Sonic staying out. JD Venter and Ragunathan staying out. Ragunathan draws alongside and draws past the Volkswagen. Tigranes is in. Milres is in. Nelson, I don't think he's gonna come in because that'd be double stacking at Lamborghini Mako. In comes MF1 World and Akari as well coming into the pits. So that's the people who have decided to stop on this lap, and it's mediums for Akari. This will guarantee him to the end, but does Pinnacle not have another set of soft tires for the number 10 car? Because if they do, I would have recommended using them. Sebo Campo on the back of B-Dragon Sonic. These two fighting for the World Drivers' Championship. I do believe, yes, Ocampo will get DRS. As we see, Revo, he will come into the pit at the end of this lap. Just about hold station. Ocampo gets by on B-Dragon Sonic. And the number 44 car does look to be coming in on the next lap. Bob comes in. Misses the wall. Milres sets a new fastest 2nd sector. As into the wall has gone Mahavir Ragunathan, losing the position to JD Venter, as he has to reverse out of it. I think the track should be clear now. It is clear. Marcus Nelson pits from 10th place. B-Dragon Sonic currently only in 4th place. He's been passed by his own teammate. He wants to go to the end on these tyres, but I'm pretty sure he knows he just can't. Bob Cassard for GS Andretti comes in for his 2nd stop. And I do believe if you're running softs to the end, that is how you want to run the rest of the race. Ocampo here, fighting with Solos Kynes over the lead of the E3 as we come into the slowest part of any circuit on the calendar. Sebastian Ocampo draws level with the Jaguar car. The Andretti with the DRS doesn't even need to use ERS deploy. They draw side by side. Sebastian Ocampo takes the lead of the Montreal Prix. Doesn't pit. Carlos Sainz does. Almost licks the wall there. I believe Sanchez stays out. Sebastian Ocampo sets the fastest lap of the E3. B-Dragon Sonic into the pits. Very swift entry into the pits, like your man with a hurry. And he comes out very swiftly as well. He's going to come out of the pits, I believe, in P9 or P8. Looking on the mini map, he's going to be P9. No, he's P10 or 11. He's 11. He's outside of the points on the penultimate lap. This does not bode well for his championship ambitions. Although the two men around him are also not currently scoring any points. So Sebastian Ocampo, out of the top four in the driver standings, currently looks to be the man to benefit the most from the acrimonious circumstances of this race. But Ravo, with fresher tyres behind him, could close in like David Camino did last year at this very track. Difference was Ocampo has similarly aged tyres to Ravo as he begins the last lap of the Prix, compared to Camino, who had way fresher tyres to the other hyperdrive car of B-Dragon Sonic last season. That other hyperdrive car, by the way, is gaining on JD Venter down the straight. He is in touching distance. He does not, however, pull to the inside. Fastest first sector for the Andretti of Seb Ocampo. ERS deployed on the straight, but he's lost out so much on JD Venter. He's currently looking at a single point as the hyperdrive driver with an QE's 5-second time penalty. Bob now sets a new fastest first sector of anyone because he's in the slipstream and DRS of Iron Babness, who he continues to gain on the other blue car on the grid. Tries to send it down the inside, just not close enough to make the move. So gets a hairpin to make the overtake. This is for 4th place, so just off the podium. But on the podium, for the second time this season, the number 76 will stand on the top of the podium. Sebastian Ocampo wins the Montreal E-Prix and sets the fastest lap of the race. Raymond will come home with second, resetting that fastest lap. Sanchez third. Bob, who set a fastest first sector, will he set a new fastest lap of the E-Prix after taking P4? Yes, he will, on 107.349 for the Renault E-Dams driver. As there goes JD Venter on an RQE for P9 and a new fastest lap of 107.033 from the South African driver. Here comes B-Dragon Sonic across the line. That's Maldonado, you see. As we now watch Akari come across the line in 17th with Bogdassarov behind. This is the podium man. Daniel Bogdassarov, the teammate of Sebastian Ocampo, is in the stands. He's cheering him on. DS Andretti win another race this season, this time out in Montreal, with Ravo in second and Daf Sanchez in third. And it's Bob, Iron Babness, Salas Kynes, Jacko Tigranes, Mulrez, JD Venter, and B-Dragon Sonic. Outside of the points, you have the two Red Bulls of Mahavir Raghunathan, Anok Huey, and Aneth, one word. Then it's Pastor Maldonado, David Camino, Marcus Nelson, Akari, and Daniel Bogdassarov. Your non-finishers were Theodore Schumacher, Leo, Yuki Suo, and UK Ball, in the driver standings. This is very close, isn't it? David Camino still leading the way on 74 points from B-Dragon Sonic on 66 points. 1 point back, that's all it is Sebastian Ocampo. Then it's UK Ball and JD Venter tied for 4th. I'll let you take a look at the rest of the driver standings yourself. In the constructors standings, going into the next round in Abuja, Nigeria, Braun GP still lead the way on 126 points from Hyperdrive on 108. Then it's DS Andretti on 85 points, 1 point ahead of Volkswagen Formula E. Then it's Red Bull on 44, Jaguar on 31, Renault E-Dams on 28 points. It's tied with Lamborghini Mako with 1 point back being Rodin Motorsport. Then it's Pinnacle Formula E on 25 points and Skoda Volkswagen on 17. We'll see you guys next time then for the Abuja E3, the first of 2 races to take place in Africa.